Well, if we're gonna find any ghosts, we better split up.
You're listening to Never Split Up, a horror movie podcast.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Hello, everyone, once again to the Never Split Up podcast. This is episode 99, the big 99, and we are covering Halloween Kills, released in 2021. Alongside me, as always, is Anthony, and we have a special guest once again returning is Phil from Phil at the Movies. What's going on, Ant? How you doing? How you doing, Phil?
Hey guys, happy Halloween.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm happy that we're covering a Halloween installment for our first October episode. Very fitting.
Yes, our first October episode. This is going to be released right in the beginning of October, and to kick off official spooky season in October.
Oh,
like I said, this is episode 99, so this is a big one right before episode 100. We're really happy to have you back on, Phil. You've covered a couple different Halloween topics with us.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the most recent one was our franchise ranking. That was probably going back, I guess, last Halloween. So
I think so.
I think that was our last time that we talked. Actually, didn't we do? Did we do Maxine?
Yeah, he was
after
on
that?
for Maxine,
Maybe we did
and
Maxine.
he was on for Pearl.
Yep.
Yeah. So he covered that with us as well. But thanks for coming back on, Phil. Before we dive in, this is going to be a really big and fun episode. Ant, did you have anything you wanted to cover? You wanted to maybe shout out the last couple episodes?
Yeah, for sure. So our last couple episodes, guys, make sure you check out our Creature Feature episode, our top 10 Creature Feature episode. I thought that was fun. We love rankings. We covered The Conjuring, so with that new movie coming out, make sure you guys check that out. And then most recently, we went back to the world of Saw, and we rounded out that trilogy and covered Saw 3. And all the polls are released, so make sure you guys comment your Never Split Up moments, vote in the polls. And yeah, we're all caught up, so make sure you guys catch up on those episodes. And now we're really going to get into the Halloween of it all, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and we did announce it. I think the last couple episodes we announced our big 100th episode is going to be Hereditary. We're covering Hereditary. That's going to be a biggie for us.
Yes.
So that's something to look forward to for next week as well. But for now, we're talking all things Halloween. Phil, you want to just real quick shout out your channels where people can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thank you guys for having me back on. Always game to talk anything Halloween and Michael Myers. So that's always a must. But yeah, if you would be so kind, everybody, I'd love for you to follow my show, Phil at the Movies. New episodes every Friday where I talk about my love of movies. And congratulations to you guys as well on 99 episodes. That's damn impressive, guys. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Definitely give Phil a follow and check out his stuff for the love of movies. He does a great job.
Yes.
So.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
And in that note, we will talk for the love of Halloween and this franchise. Phil, again, you haven't been on for a little while talking Halloween, so just give a quick refresher. Kind of, this is your favorite horror franchise. Where do you stand, though? We are covering the David Gordon Green trilogy. We covered 2018 last time around. We are covering Halloween Kills now. We'll get to Ends eventually, but is this your favorite trilogy, like Halloween trilogy, outside of the OG Halloween?
I think so, yes.
Favorite timeline?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's the beauty with Halloween. It is the pick your own adventure series, but there's just something about this particular timeline where it's the cleanest. I mean, again, there are some bumps in the roads, but I think when it's all said and done, this has the best kind of through line from 1978 to the end, if you will.
Okay. Yes, for sure. Okay. And is this your? I know we've talked about this.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Go
is
back
this,
and forth
do you
between
agree?
like
Are you with Phil?
H2O timeline, and I know H2O is near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
And then this one, I tend to agree with Phil. I think it's the smoothest timeline. You guys know how I feel about Ends, but even with Ends, I think still put it because, yeah, it's so connected, and the fact that you have John Carpenter all through this, obviously with the score and everything. This is my favorite version of Michael and his mythology and the way they describe Michael and his intentions. I think this is my favorite version. So yeah, I think this is the most solid for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I love this timeline so much, but because I grew up with it, and it's just more for me. I do tend to prefer the Halloween 2, 1981, Halloween H2O, and if you have to include Resurrection, that timeline.
Which
But
we
you could
don't.
just stop at H2O if you want. But yeah, I'll include it, and I still will. I mean, I grew up with them being brother and sister, and I know why people like that this is something different, but like Phil said, that's why we have, multiple timelines. And I do the brother sister angle is near and dear to my heart. And I really think that brings the Laurie Strode fight and like H2O to a head, and I just feel like myself cheering in that one. And Halloween 2 is my favorite sequel in the franchise, so that one has a slight edge, but I do obviously also adore this trilogy very much. We all know what my favorite one of the trilogy is, but I do enjoy it as a whole. And it's right behind. Obviously, this is my second favorite timeline after that one. So, the Thorn's my least favorite timeline.
Okay, but I think we can all agree that every timeline, I mean, it's Halloween. We adore
they're
every
all
single
fun,
timeline.
of
We have our
course.
favorites and least favorites, but yeah.
You can't go wrong
sure.
with Halloween.
For sure.
Especially on this podcast, our listeners love the Halloween content. We always get good feedback, so thank you. We love coming back, obviously, to this franchise. So we're really excited to talk Halloween Kills. If you guys follow the podcast and you've listened to our earlier discussions last year, you know kind of how we feel, me and Anthony, and even Phil too. Phil was on and talked a little Halloween Kills. So I think this is going to make for a good discussion. We have some varying topics and different feelings and different rankings where this movie falls. So without further ado, let's dive right in and let's cover the basics, the cast and crew and all that.
All right, guys. So, I mean, we know what it is. It's Halloween, but I'll give you the IMDb synopsis. It is surviving victims of Michael Myers form a vigilante mob and vow to end his reign of terror. David Gordon Green is back to direct, and it was written. Who wrote Danny McBride? I always forget that Danny McBride is involved with these movies, but Danny McBride wrote it along with David Gordon Green. And it stars our final girl, Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, Judy Greer as Karen Strode, Andy Matichak as Allison Strode. We have James Jude Courtney back as the Shape. We have Nick Castle doing a cameo again as the Shape. We have Will Patton, surprisingly, back from the dead as Officer Hawkins. And we have Dylan Arnold as Cameron. I want to give a shout out to Thomas Mann. He plays young Hawkins. I thought he did really good in this. Jim Cummings is a horror guy. He makes a cameo. We have Robert Longstreet, who's in a lot of Mike Flanagan stuff. He plays Lonnie. We have returning actors, Nancy Stevens as Marion and Kyle Richards as Lindsay. They have quick little moments in this movie. And we have Anthony Michael Hall as Tommy Doyle. And you can't forget Charles Cypher, as we have Brackett back as well. And this came out in 2021. It was a victim of the pandemic, so it was delayed a year. And Universal and Blumhouse did the stupid thing of releasing it simultaneously on Peacock and in theaters, which I remember I was furious about. But it still made, just in theaters alone, I think they made their money back just by like having Peacock acquire it. But it made $134 million on a $20 million budget, so it still did, really well in theaters. Not as well as 2018, but it still killed it. I mean, it's Halloween. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this one. This is part 2. This is the part 2 of the trilogy, and for so long we thought the whole trilogy would take place over one single night, but obviously that's not how it turned out. So I'm excited to take a little dive into the movie that took place on the same night as 2018.
Yes, and we can't forget Aaron Armstrong plays a young Michael in the flashback scenes.
Yeah, he stunk out.
Amazing performance for that too. So shout out to him. He's a pretty notorious stunt guy in the industry right now. So shout out to him too. Okay, great. Yes, huge cast. I mean, you were just rattling them off. Yeah. You didn't even get to everyone, but pretty big cast, which means a lot of kills. It's called Halloween Kills. We got a lot of returning, like you said, a lot of through lines that bring everything back to the original. I mean, way more than 2018. I mean, obviously, I just mentioned the flashback scenes. It kind of goes full circle with that. And yeah, it's a time to be had. Who wants to go first with their just overall thoughts, recommendation? Spoiler free. We'll keep it for now. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, and I want to know where everyone. I want to get reminded of your rankings of it too when we go through the overall thought.
Okay. You can be the official keeper, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm curious because I forget where Phil you had this one in your ranking. I know where it lands for Nolan though.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
Sure, I'll take a stab at it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Pun intended, of course. Yeah, this is. I'll just start by saying this is a fun movie. I mean, just if you were looking for a bloody, gnarly throwback love letter, whatever you want to call it, to the 1980s and that era of the slasher movie, it's all here in this film. In a modern context, of course, with modern effects, but it is very much in the vein of Halloween 2 even. I mean, just it is a bloody splatter film. And it, like you said, it lives up to that title, Halloween Kills. Um, there is a little bit of a funhouse quality to it, a House of Mirrors or an amusement park ride or something where we sort of like go from set piece to set piece. Characters pop up. Oh, look, there's Brackett. Oh, there's Marion, and then it just sort of takes us on a nonstop ride, really following Michael from his time of leaving Laurie's house all the way to going back to his old childhood homestead. And I kind of like how this one is really Michael driving the narrative. I mean, yeah, he is the focal point of all these films, but he's really the character that is on the on sort of an arc, if you will. Even though Michael, we never really know what his motives are or what his rationalizations are. This one at least tries to add a little bit more nuance and depth to try to figure out just what's going on behind that mask. And therefore, with Laurie sort of being sidelined in the hospital, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, it does, I think, kind of work in this overall story that they're trying to tell. And again, this is Michael's movie. He should be front and center, and he delivers. I mean, for anyone that was maybe feeling a little let down by the last film, thinking there maybe wasn't enough blood or enough Michael, this movie makes up for that tenfold. And I love it. I mean, it's a charming, fun movie. I think that's really the big takeaway I have for this movie. Every time I watch it, it's just a fun slasher film. And in this era, it doesn't feel like we always get that necessarily. Like, okay, we can get into the subtext and a lot of the commentary and whatnot that is infused in this movie, but if you're just looking for like again, like I said, a throwback to the '80s, Halloween Kills delivers on that. And again, in this era where we don't always sort of get that kind of straightforward slasher film, it did feel refreshing to sort of being like, all right, we're going back to the basics, if you will. We're going back to, in a lot of ways, where Halloween started.
Hell yeah.
And do you remember where this ranks for you? I know you said your rankings are always changing.
Yeah,
but as
they're
of now-
always in flux. I think it's around either maybe 6th or 7th place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Ant, why don't you go next? I'll go last.
All right. So yeah, I feel like I get a lot of flack. I feel like for Halloween Kills and Scream 6, everyone's like, you hate it. I'm like, no, I love them both. It's just I have issues with them. So I love Halloween Kills, but I do think it's Halloween the Ride, for better or worse. I have a great time with it. I think it's very chaotic and frantic, and I love that this is Michael's movie, and he's front and center. I do feel like it's more like the Jason Voorhees Michael Myers, and I know Michael I'm fine with the blood and violence, but he's always known for the stalking and the creeping and the suspense of it all to lead up to the kill. I feel like this was very in your face. Let's get to kill set piece, kill set piece, kill set piece, which I love in a movie called Halloween Kills. So you can't, I can't really fault it because the movie's called Halloween Kills. But I did want my moments of more chase sequences. I feel like we're about to have a couple good chase scenes in this one, and they kind of just flutter out. But other than that, I mean, the movie looks beautiful. I think the opening sequence is pretty perfect. That flashback is beautiful and perfect. Jamie Lee Curtis is my girl, and I love my final girls in these movies, and I wasn't that mad that she was silent just because of how injured she was in 2018, so I was okay with that. But some of the dialogue and the commentary was a little heavy-handed for me at times, where they're showing and they're telling like times 10, and even like Jamie Lee Curtis is my girl, and even some of the dialogue she's giving is a little like, ooh, this is a little rough. But I mean, that goes to, like Phil said, the 80s cheesy, silly funness of it all. So again, I'm giving it a pass, but I have to bring it up because I do think it is a little messy compared to 2018 and Ends. But I mean, my favorite sequence is when we get to the Myers house. That scene with Cameron and Allison, I think, is fucking all-timer slasher of the last 10 years. And again, love these movies, love this trilogy or not. The best thing about them that is consistent through the whole trilogy is John Carpenter's amazing score. I mean, there's so many tracks in Halloween Kills that I love so much. I mean, Unkillable to me is a banger. There's so many more we'll get into as we go through the movie because I literally memorized all the tracks to all three of these movies. So I love it. I just do think it's a big mess, and that's for better or worse. It's very frantic, messy, but I love it and I have a good time. It just feels like Halloween the ride versus the Halloween slow, menacing, stalking, suspense-filled movie. And I do think that the returning characters could have been used better than they were. Specifically, I mean, poor Mary. And I think that her one scene in Halloween H2O was better than the whole entire amount of screen time she has in Halloween Kills.
Wow.
I think that she was utilized way better in H2O. I think Lindsay is the best returning character. I mean, Tommy returns, but it's a different actor. And I think Anthony Michael Hall, he does what he can, but I just think that, I really hated Tommy in this movie. He didn't do it for me. I think it was the writing, obviously, and not the performance. And I feel like that's a bummer because going back to the OG, Tommy was the one who saw the boogeyman and kept talking about the boogeyman. So I feel like what they did in this one, it was just kind of a complete 180. And I was kind of like, dude, like, think with your common sense and your brain first before you go in to start this mob. But Lindsay, I think Kyle Richards did really great, and she's the sequence that I wished went on a little bit longer because I thought that was like good. We're getting a chase, and that kind of just fluttered out. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's a throwback, like Phil said, a throwback to 80s slashers with really dumb people like you like watching get killed, and Michael just doing his thing, a bloodbath, Halloween sequel. I think it's really good that it's like a middle part. I know people say that they wish that this was the ending and that Ends was the beginning. I completely think that they did it the correct way. And I'm happy that this is the middle chapter. So we got the Michael full force, and then we got like the poetic, like beautiful haunting ending with Ends. So yeah, I mean, I love this movie. I have a good time with it. I mean, I really, really love it. It's just I do have problems with it. I do think it's a little bit messy, but yeah, I mean, overall, it's a blast. I mean, I remember seeing this in theaters, and it was so fun on opening night. I saw it the Thursday night preview and the Friday night preview with my family, and it was great. It was a fun time. And I really can't wait to get into it. And it's my number 9 in my franchise ranking. So I mean, and I love all these movies, even my last two spots. I mean, I love them all. So that's not to put anything against the movie. It's just my number 9.
Okay, woof. Where do I begin? That was a lot.
Yeah.
This movie, guys, I absolutely love, adore. It's my number 2, but right outside the OG Halloween. I think this is going to be a fun episode because a lot of the critiques, especially with Anthony, I feel the opposite about, and I think their strengths. You mentioned the writing. I think the writing is brilliant in this film. It's everything I want from a modern slasher. Like, all of the jokes work for me. It's such a fun time on rewatches, and it's also really heartfelt at times. You talk about Lonnie's character is awesome, and Cameron and stuff towards the end. It's funny. The couple of the points you made is exactly how I feel about Halloween Ends with Laurie Strode and her monologues. The fact that you make fun of it in this movie, but you're so okay bad with it in Ends is like insane to me. Because I think in Ends it's like all tell and no show. But that's for another episode. I think this film is just almost perfect, borderline perfect for a modern slasher. I'm really curious because I've been, me, Anthony, I've been wanting to do this episode since this movie came out to talk about this, and I guess I'm going to be on the defense here because I think I have it higher than you guys. I'm curious to hear like why you think it's so messy because I think it's such a solidly built film. I don't have the critiques that other people have. I know you guys feel the same way as me. The whole Evil Dies the Night thing, that doesn't bother me. I think it's fine.
That's an internet critique.
It's an internet critique. Yeah. I timed it on my stopwatch on my phone. It takes about 8 minutes, the entire sequence on screen. and people freaked out about it. I mean, it's insane. So that was fun. I have actually leaned into it now, and I enjoy chanting along "Evil Dies Tonight" as I'm watching this movie. I mean, it's just so fun. You talk about the kind of, I know Anthony, you've said this a lot. Like he's kind of like, this is like his Jason Voorhees movie. This is like the Funhouse movie where it's not a lot of stalking. I see what you're saying. I guess it doesn't bother me because it feels very connected to 2018 in the way Michael is kind of on this mission to return home and stuff. And because it's in the same timeline, obviously, as the original, we get the slow burn in the original. So when I do this rewatch and I watch all three movies, I can watch these movies and I get something different from each one. So I didn't need, it to feel exactly like the original. So I'm glad it has its own unique kind of feel to it. And yeah, I love the set pieces. All of the set pieces are awesome. The Myers house with Big John, Little John is one of my favorite set pieces in the whole franchise. I love the firefighters in the beginning. And I purposely didn't even bring this up right away, but the flashback sequence is what brings this movie just over the top. And I think it's the reason why it catapulted all the way into my number 2. Yeah, there's not much we agree on, Ant, because I'm in the boat that the order of this trilogy is so messed up. But that's more of a conversation for, I think when we talk about ends, we'll kind of wrap up the trilogy and we'll talk about more about what we want from the trilogy. So we'll save that for another time, and maybe we'll have Phil on again as well. And I'll kind of play defense again with you guys, and you guys can team up on me with that movie. But yeah, I think this movie.
Me and Phil are more positive in kills than you are on ends, for sure.
I don't know, because you have it. Yeah, maybe because you have it number 9 kills, so that's pretty low. I mean, that's almost as low,
like 10 or something for you.
Yeah, I have ends pretty low. I have ends pretty low. It might be 11 now. Every time I rewatch it, I hate it more. So. Yeah, but again, that's another time. So yeah, guys, I love this film. Again, it's everything I want from a modern Halloween slasher. It's just a fun time. It's really fun, and I'm glad that it exists. The only critiques I really have are maybe the way it ends. I don't like, and without getting heavy into spoilers, but it also reminds me the ending that Halloween Ends exists, so maybe that's why I don't love it. So I think they could have went a different route there. And one of I think the standout characters in this film gets an untimely death, and I think she should have made it to the end of the trilogy. But that's just a personal opinion. So yeah, let's dive in. Let's get into it. This really opening flashback. Just, oh my gosh. I mean, I think we can all agree. I mean, they nailed the way almost everything looked. The only critique I can kind of give it, if I'm being fair, is that this was made in a studio, in a sound stage, and you can kind of see that, especially the Myers house, like the outside shots in the Myers house. It kind of reminds me of, and I know you're big on like Stu's house from Scream.
Oh yeah, that's
5. It kind of gives me that same vibe. It's a little too clean in some of the shots, but other than that, this is almost like perfect. The way they were able to replicate the OG mask, which has never been done before. Like I said, Aaron Armstrong, who plays a young Michael Myers, is perfect with his movements. Loomis, I mean, the story behind how they found him is just incredible. No CGI work at all. It's just insane. And yeah, I really love how they kind of bridged the gap of these 40 years, and they kind of explained what happened the rest of that fateful night after Loomis shot Michael and he disappeared. So how do you guys feel about this flashback scene? Any notes?
No notes at all with it. It really is. It's a flawless scene, and when you figured the stakes they had to do this, the fact that they were able to pull it off. I mean, I'm with you, Nolan. There are moments where it's a little bit, you can say, okay, this was clearly done in a stage, but again, those are minor nitpicks that aren't going to derail it. Everything from the lighting, the fact that it feels like Dean Cundy was doing the cinematography, and I think he was even consulted for some of the lighting techniques on the shoot. So that just adds a whole other layer to it. I mean, it feels like if you were to watch 78 and then immediately stitch this to the end, it's a seamless transition. You think, okay, Carpenter and company shot this back in 78. It just feels like a perfect extension. I mean, even some of the details, like in the first film, there's the mention from Brackett that when the hardware store gets broken into, Michael stole a knife, mask, and a rope, and we never see the rope in the first film, and so to see the rope then come full circle here, I thought was just a nice little touch. Which again, they didn't have to do that, but it just sort of added to the credibility of tying this all the way back to the '78 film. And I was always curious because like we knew from 2018 that Michael was captured, and there was the whole background with Hawkins and him being there and stopping Loomis from killing Michael. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, how are they gonna pull this off? And it works better than I thought it would have, because again, you sort of figure, okay, Michael's going to get arrested. How is that going to go down? The way it's done, it's again, I feel like I'm watching Nick Castle under that mask. It's just such a seamless transition and replication of the '78 film where, yeah, I could say, all right, yeah, this is what happened that night. This is how it all came full circle. And again, we can get into some of the the more the details and nuances of it, but just from like just a technical achievement, it's phenomenal. Like, I mean, I remember thinking to myself after they did it, I want to see a Halloween film made today, but set like in that time frame, because they just captured it so well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great opening scene. That this is one of the best parts of the movie for me. I agree with the like. I mean, again, they look so good. And they did such a great job that again, you get a huge pass for me. But you can tell, obviously, much like in Scream 5, I'm like, what are you doing? This, I'm like, it doesn't look like the house, but it's 40 something years later. They're not that, it's going to look a little different. But they did. The attention to detail gives them a pass alone with how well they did. And I do like, I was a little nervous because I don't want to see Michael in like a compromised position. So the opening scene is great. What they do later in the movie when they go back again one more time, I have slight issues with, because you do see him, get whacked and he's on his knees, and I don't like that. But the opening alone, when you just see Loomis like walking behind him, oh my god, that gave me chills. And I like that we didn't just go back just to show us like there was a reason. I mean, we find out before this flashback that Hawkins did, survive his stab in 2018 and getting run over by a car. That he did survive. So I like that it's through the lens of him when he's like saying that to Cameron when Cameron finds him, because he feels guilty for not killing, because we find out later in the movie that, he had the opportunity to put Michael down and he didn't. So I like that it goes through his lens and he has to like kind of confront Laurie with that later in the movie. And I just think the scene alone of Michael, just walking in that house and walking through I watched the extended version now with the Blu-ray that I own. So there's a couple more sequences of him walking like in the neighborhood behind the bushes, and he literally like almost looks like he disappears through a house. And I thought that's like, oh, adds so much lore to the boogeyman of it all. So I wish that was left in the theatrical cut, but it's beautiful. I think, again, you have typical never split up shenanigans with them in the house going through. I mean, it's pretty funny. When how they lead to Michael, and I mean, it's literally almost like stand here, put your footprints here, and wait to get killed. The one cop pretty much goes, and Jim Cummings plays him. He's awesome, but it's pretty funny how he goes. Pete, his name is Pete, and Hawkins accidentally kills Pete. That's another trope in horror movies where you accidentally kill the wrong guy. But I think, and again, I'm not gonna nitpick, but I'm gonna nitpick a little bit. It was great. The mask looks great, but it doesn't look like. I know everyone says how good the mask looks, which it does. It's better than 95% of the mask. But it still doesn't look like, the OG mask 100%. But I do think it was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's as close as it gets.
Yeah, I know people like it's the exact same. Like,
I guess if I'm staring and I'm like really,
I could tell
my
like
eyes,
right
maybe?
away. Like,
yeah. Can you really?
I mean, I've watched 78 like more than any other movie in my life, but it's amazing. It's better than most of the masks in the franchise. But I'm still like, that's not that mask from the OG. But again, it's awesome. The friggin' score, I mean, John Carpenter came to play with this trilogy, so I think the score, like, the first attack and standoff is great, and then once you get Michael on the front, everyone surrounding him, and then Loomis just, like, going into the doorway. Oh my god, that it's Loomis that gets me right behind Michael, and then you get the cut to the Halloween Kills main title. Oh, it's so fucking good. So yeah, I mean, I have no complaints. This was a banger opening on pre-title sequence, and it gets me amped for the movie.
I'm kind of the same as you, Phil. I was a little worried on how they were going to show Michael actually being arrested. I was very concerned that they were going to not do a good job, do good service to Michael and make it like not believable. But the fact that it ends with them surrounding Michael and it's that cut and it's like the same kind of still frame as the original movie where, you know, it's young Michael as a kid and with his parents and it's everyone's frozen in time. It's like a diorama almost. I thought that was just a perfect way to kind of finish the cap off the flashback. A couple, before we move on from the flashback, a couple cool points that I wanted to point out. I love the scene where he's standing behind the bush again, very obviously reminiscent of the OG. But the difference is now, and again, this is just adding to the lore, he doesn't vanish off screen. We actually see him walk away, and it actually holds on him instead of cutting away, which is, I think, a pretty cool difference from when we first see him standing behind the bush. So it's like, okay, he doesn't teleport. He's actually walking away, maybe briskly, but he doesn't have those superpowers. And also, I love, this is going to be a big thing for me throughout this review. I love Lonnie Elam. I think he's fucking awesome in this movie. And a young Lonnie, man, in this film. I think it's really cool how he comes face to face with Michael as well. And it kind of adds another layer that Michael wasn't just stalking Laurie and Tommy in the original. He was kind of creeping out other kids on the same night. So that was really cool. And it also kind of adds a layer to older Lonnie later on in the movie. So I thought that was a pretty cool scene too. But yeah, just incredible. Just a amazing achievement, technical achievement. And I have the 4K as well. And I watch the behind the scenes all the time of how they constructed these flashback scenes, and the attention to detail is just so impressive. You can really tell that they gave a shit and that everyone involved really cared about doing a good job. And I hope we get that in the future. Filmmakers, because you know this franchise is not going anywhere. I hope we get filmmakers that really do care as much as this cast and crew cared about this. So okay, we cut right to, I guess it's the bar scene, right? We get introduced to our returning characters. And they're kind of hanging out on the anniversary. It's Halloween night, October 30th. They're having a good time.
Open mic
taking
night.
shots.
Like, what the hell?
On Halloween.
Yeah,
I'll allow
his
it, but it's
annual
like, what the
open mic where he tells the story again to people that have probably heard it 39 times by now.
I'm like, what is this?
Oh boy, here comes Doyle.
Yeah. I think it's just hilarious. I understand why people don't love the Tommy character in this film. I don't think he's supposed to be loved. I think it's hilarious how over cocky and bravado Anthony Michael Hall plays him, and then the way he goes out at the end is just so perfect.
I will say I'm so happy that they did go with Anthony Michael Hall. I know they tried to get Paul Rudd. I'm like, no, that would have fucked up everything because he already was Tommy Doyle in a different timeline. That bothers me, my OCD. So I'm so happy that it was Anthony Michael Hall and not Paul Rudd. Nothing against Paul Rudd, but that would have ruined it for me because that's already my least favorite Halloween.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have had to like rewrite the character a bit because the way they wrote it for Anthony Michael Hall, I don't see Paul Rudd pulling off even. So I don't even know. It would probably be a different version altogether. Yeah,
I'm just happy they didn't do it. I'm also happy that's pretty sweet that they had 12 pumpkins in the title sequence, and this was the 12th. I love me a title sequence, and I mean, all the ones for the trilogy are amazing. But yeah, I mean, the open mic night, it's silly fun. You get to see Lindsay, Marion, you get the nurse, the woman dressed up as the nurse, and then her boyfriend. Vanessa, we saw them quick shot in 2018, so that was cool, still involved from that. So again, cheesiness in the bar to the max, but I vibe with it. It's all right. And I love when he does it to you, Laurie, and then we cut to Laurie screaming. See, that's the stuff I love. When he does that, and then we cut to that. That to me, I was like, all right, that's good camp, that's good cheese. So I love that transition so much.
And it's a great way to set up who we're going to be dealing with in this film. I like that they're all doing this yearly event where they just, I think the bartender says, it's their fears and their booze or something like that. It's like, there's something kind of poetic about that. How like every year they all gather around and just commiserate with one another, and you've got Tommy already being on edge, hearing different things about like a bus crash, and you can see like he's trying to channel his inner Dr. Loomis, and of course, that's just not going to happen. But A for effort, Tommy.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's his. That should be his tagline: "A for effort," for sure. I appreciate how they kind of handled these characters, and they're kind of all dealing with it differently, especially Laurie.
Yeah.
And you can even talk. You can even say, what's his name as well, Deputy Frank.
Yeah.
Hawkins, sorry, yeah, Hawkins. They're all kind of dealing with this 40 years later very differently, and obviously Tommy is dealing with it in his own way. So you may not like it, and I don't think he's really supposed to be this beloved character in this film. He's got his own demons, and he's trying to work through them in his own way. So I think this was a good setup for our victims, right? I mean, it's setting up the returning characters for Michael to just eventually mow down. That's pretty much all it is. It's a fun time at the bar. We get introduced to old Huckleberry. I mean, it's good. So this is the bridge to the big set piece, the first big set piece we get, the firefighter scene at Laurie's burning down house. This was the final scene in 2018. We see the firefighters racing to Laurie's house and Laurie just begging them to not go and to stop and to turn around because she knows, if you get there too quickly, Michael's going to emerge, and we want to let this thing burn to a crisp. So I loved this scene. I thought it was really clever how Michael is found hiding in the weapons kind of closet with the pull down door. It kind of explains how he was able to kind of escape the flames and the smoke a bit. I thought that was really clever, and we get introduced to the new and, well, not improved, but the new mask, which I have it behind me. We'll get into that. The mask design, so awesome, so badass. It fits tonally perfectly with this film, how brutal Michael is in this film, and it just looks so menacing. And yeah, we get Michael, and I believe this is the first time as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because I think between the three of us, we have a pretty good grasp on this franchise. This is the first time that Michael is shown like killing a large group of people at once, where he's just dispatching people left and right. Like, we don't really get that.
He does that in 4.
In any other. Does he in 4? Like, what?
Yeah,
well, there's the guys on the truck at the end.
Yeah, the truck at the end. Like, there's like a
but I think,
on the truck.
But I think
Okay,
this would be the
yeah.
bigger body count, though.
Yeah, okay. I knew I was maybe missing one part, but I think this scene is so effective and incredible, kind of establishing Michael on like what he's about to do, the warpath he's about to go on. I mean, he means business now. He got trapped. He got beaten. I mean, he was beaten in the 2018 film. And so he's pissed off, and he's like, fuck this. Like, no more stalking, no more, any of that. I'm going to just kill these motherfuckers and get on my way because I got business to do. I got a window to look out of.
I got places to be, people. No, I'll just say, if there is one defining image from the David Gordon Green trilogy, it is this entire set piece, particularly that image of Michael emerging from the burning house. I mean, you think of any article that's written today, any image that pops up on Twitter, social media, 9 out of 10 today, it's going to be some frame from this particular scene. And I think it really does speak to the impact of it, this kind of, emerging from the fires of hell. And, you think of that Loomis line from Halloween 5, hell would not have him. I mean, this is so classic Halloween, but yet it sort of sets it all up for a new generation. I love the way this scene is orchestrated. I love the tension of it, and it just, I mean, it's Michael kicking ass and holding court here.
Taking names.
Exactly.
No, I agree. I think that shot of him emerging from the house is my favorite shot of him in the movie, 100%. I love Laurie screaming "Let it burn." I remember like back when they delayed it, when they just released that short clip of her screaming it, I was like, oh, I got fucking chills. So Love her doing that. Again, we don't get a lot of Laurie in this movie. She's sprinkled in throughout, like, enough, but that always gets me because I'm a Final Girl guy first and foremost. But I love, when he just slaughters all these first responders. I remember there was a stupid, friggin' like, I don't know, they wanted to like take the movie out of theaters
Oh, a
because he killed.
petition.
I'm like, it's a
Yeah.
fucking slasher movie, you losers, you oversensitive people. But I'm like, this is hilarious. It's a slasher movie. But I love that he just goes after everybody, and I just love when he gets the guy and lifts him up. I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
fucking awesome. I would say again, for me, the first half of the movie is definitely better than the second half, just because of the opening sequence and this alone. I mean, these are my two favorite sequences in the movie, along with the Cameron and Allison scene, like, right before the third act. It's so damn good. Yeah, no notes with this. I mean, you have the From the Fire track from John Carpenter, which gets me amped. I run to that, and I'm just like, yes, let's fucking kill. Let's fucking get this done. So I love it so much. I think that Michael is just such a badass, and it still has the creepiness that, like, comes over from 2018 because he's still in the house. Like Phil just said, it's just all flamed up, whereas in the first one it was all dark. It all had all Laurie's trauma in it. Now it's just all up in flames and everything's just fucking shit hit the fan. So I think it's excellent sequence. It's so damn good and bloody, but good bloody. Like it gets in your face, but it still feels like Michael to me.
Yeah. Do you guys think, like, kind of on a larger scale, obviously Halloween Ends is like, we've called it a love letter to John Carpenter films.
Mhm.
2018 was like that classic legacy sequel. Do you guys feel that Halloween Kills is almost a love letter to the sequels of this franchise, where Michael is that kind of larger than life, has that like greater power scale? Because that's the sense I get. I think there's touches of the sequels throughout this film, especially with the mob scene in the hospital. I think that's a complete homage to Halloween 2, with the mob running around in Halloween 2. So how do you guys feel about that? Because that's the thing I get when I first watch this first scene with Michael, is like, holy shit, he is this guy who is just a monster at this point. I mean, you have the original Halloween, you have 2018 where Laurie essentially outsmarts him, and now he's doing what he loves to do on this grand scale. And I feel like they did that to kind of pay tribute to the sequels. How do you guys feel about that?
I would agree with that. I think this film owes a lot of gratitude to films like Halloween 2, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and even to an extent Halloween 6. There's definitely an homage to how Michael was portrayed in those films. I will tell you, the first time I saw this movie, I got a lot of Halloween 5 vibes from the way Michael is acting, just because there's sort of a pissed off energy that he brings in that film. I mean, he's, stabbing people with pitchforks and, taking, crowbars and whatnot to people's faces. And like, there's almost a meanness to the way he's going about his business. And you definitely feel that similarity in this film, just kind of the way he's, again, taking down the fire department, or like we, get into that next scene, he's, smashing light bulbs and whatnot. I mean, there's definitely I think a connection in truly a love letter way, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, this is definitely going to have plenty of homages to Halloween 2. It is the only other Halloween movie, along with Halloween 2, that takes place for the entire movie on the same night.
Mhm.
I, of course, appreciate the subtlety a little bit more of Halloween 2, with how they deal with the mob mentality and all that, than what we're going to get to soon in this one. But yeah, it's definitely a throwback to, I would say, to 4, 5, and 6, because those are 80s slashers, and I think more than a throwback to just Halloween, it just is a throwback to the over-the-top 80s slasher icons in general, with the over-the-top blood and kills and gore, not just Halloween. But yeah, I could see that.
You know what I feel like they did with Michael in this film is, and Anne, I know it doesn't work for you completely. You take the original, right? And then you take all of the sequels in the franchise, and they kind of constructed Michael as the villain that people think he is in their own mind. Does that make sense? Like, because in the original, he's not this. He's not this at all. He's just this normal dude who stalks teenagers. And yeah, he's strong. I mean, he's definitely strong for his like, because he doesn't look like a big guy, but he has this internal strength. But I feel like as Michael Myers has entered the zeitgeist over the years, people maybe not mega fans of this franchise that just know him as this icon think he's this like kind of this Jason Voorhees or some of these other villains where he's like super powerful and can't be brought down. And I think they played into that. And it's something that I love because it's something that I grew up thinking he was just this unstoppable force because I grew up on the sequels and everything. So I think that was a great way to kind of make Michael in for this film. I think it's totally the right choice. But I could see why maybe like someone like you, Anthony, who adores it's your favorite movie of all time, the original. He's so different from the original. I'm able to explain it in my mind because it's 40 years later. He's older. He's not this like 20 whatever year old kid anymore. He's pissed off. He's been in a jail for 40 years. Like he wants revenge on this town. So I'm able to kind of conceptualize it, but I think maybe for someone like you, it's a little bit harder of a hump.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. I don't want Michael Myers to be like, Jason Voorhees or all these other sessions. I love that he's so unique and I love the mystery of the OG. And I mean, he's pissed off and he's angry and he's very intense in part 2 of Halloween 2, but I still feel like he's that Michael Myers from the OG. He still has that mystery. He's still lurking in the shadows. He's still the boogeyman, which is what my favorite thing is about Michael Myers. So you don't really know you don't want to explain his strength. You don't want to explain anything. He's just there. He's the boogeyman. He's purely evil. So I recognize he's the same character, and I don't think that it's like that much of a disconnect. I just think that they went full on in your face, where I still would like the Michael Myers in the shadows a little bit, while still being aggressive. Because in Halloween 2, he gets shit done. I mean, he's going real crazy in Halloween 2. And again, I love the sequel, Michael Myers, but again, it almost feels like once the lore kept going more in depth and some explanations and whatever, and thankfully Halloween Kills doesn't explain anything like some of the sequels, but I still feel like he just became something other than what he was originally created to be, where this mysterious boogeyman, we don't know, what he's doing, why he's doing it. So yeah, I get both sides, but I think the character alone is fine. I just think how they utilized him, they just made him this nonstop, Jason killing machine sometimes, where Michael likes to play his games, and he likes to play his games with people, and he likes to get things done in his own way. I don't want him to be like any other slasher, because that's why he, in my opinion, is the greatest, horror villain of all time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think he's still playing his games. I think it's just because we get more of his POV in this film, so we don't see the shadows. We're in the shadows with Michael. So I think that's kind of the main difference here. But yeah, Phil, anything on that?
No, I would just add that I think this is the sort of the culmination of the pop culture version of Michael in a way. Like this is, like you said, Nolan, this is what people perceive Michael to be, and in a lot of ways, you're not just talking about the context within the film's timeline. You're talking about the context of 40 plus years of sequel after sequel. I mean, Michael is this larger than life force. So in a way, this kind of feels like this is the movie the masses would be expecting at this point. Like, okay, this is, all right, you've got your Frankenstein monster, you've got your classic horror villains. We're going to show you now the OG slasher and kind of bring him into the modern world, if you will. I mean, even to an extent, you look at what the zombie films did. I mean, they made Michael into this, massive force of nature, just a nonstop killing machine.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, it kind of feels like just a natural progression of where things would go with the character, kind of vis-a-vis the zeitgeist.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think all of your points are fair. I think they do balance it, I think, really brilliantly. I don't think they give too much away, like you said, Ant, like in the Thorn trilogy. And
Yeah.
I think just personally, this is kind of like the type of Michael movie as a kid growing up I always wanted. I wanted where Michael was front and center. We got to kind of see behind the curtain, not necessarily what he's thinking, because again, I think they balance that really well.
Yeah.
But to see his methods a little bit more and to kind of peel the curtain back, we're gonna get into our next big kill set piece is, that couple, that Sandra, I forget her husband's name is, but we get to
Doesn't
see
matter.
him staging a kill for the first time. So little stuff like that, I think it's like something that I always longed for as a kid and even as an adult, and it finally delivered. So I think that's why this movie is so important to me. And I don't think they went too far with it. I think that was the important thing. I think they balanced it pretty well to add to Michael's kind of mythos. So before we get there, I just wanted to highlight Karen in the hospital scene with Allison. We go to the hospital now. Laurie's in surgery. And I think this movie, I think, doesn't get enough credit for the little moments sprinkled in with these characters. I talked about Lonnie and his son. We get Karen and Allison finally really acknowledging Ray's death, the father's death from the last movie, and they kind of had this moment together. And she's talking about Laurie and how Laurie's going to be okay. I thought that was a pretty touching moment between the two of them. And I think Karen is a great character in this, and I love Allison too. These are two of my favorite characters in these first two films of the David Gordon Green trilogy, and I really think that these little moments really help kind of reel this movie back in, because if it was all Funhouse and it didn't have that some of these moments sprinkled in, I think it could have gone a little overboard. But I think these are very important for this film.
And I'll just add, I love how we get a real growth arc for Karen, particularly where we find her in the first film, and she kind of has that moment at the end. But to really see her blossom and develop in this movie, it really was a nice full circle. And I mean, Judy Greer is always fantastic, but she really gets a lot to play with in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, Karen, to me, we covered 2018 last year, and she was a Karen in 2018. She really got under my skin. I think she had a great
for
moment.
Good reason, though. For good reason.
I don't know about that. I think she had a good moment at the end of 2018. I was like, yes, there's Laurie Strode's daughter. Gotcha. Like, that's when I was like, okay. And I do think that obviously Kills to me is the way better arc for Karen. And I do think that because I loved her so much in Kills, I think that it earned that gut punch at the end when she was killed. I mean, talking about a never sweat up moment, really dumb move what she did, but I think it earned that kill, and I love that we got, again, you have to have stakes, so I really do love that we got her getting killed off later in the movie, because how much I loved how proactive she was to save her daughter in this. So yeah, I mean, I like the moments. Again, I appreciate the quieter, we'll get to it, but the quieter dialogue moments to me work way better in Ends. I wanted a little bit more in Kills, but again, we're talking about a movie called Halloween Kills. We're really pedal to the metal. So I wanted a little bit more emotion. And I don't like how we really don't get, especially because Karen dies, I really wanted a scene of Karen, Allison, and Laurie when Laurie was awake after her surgery. And we don't get that in the movie at all. So that to me is a little missed opportunity before Karen's killed off, because we really wanted that, emotional moment with the three of them before she's killed off. And yeah, so that's a little nitpick, but other than that, I love the character moments of Allison and Karen. Again, my favorite sequence after the opening is the scene with Allison and Cameron later on. So Allison's a really badass final girl in this one. I like her arc throughout the trilogy as well. But you knew that one of the three was going, and unfortunately, it was just the obvious pick to have Karen be the girl.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. You can say that you knew, but I didn't. I genuinely was
really
not that I was surprised. I'm not saying I was surprised. And I see why they did it, but I thought maybe it was going to get three generations of Strodes kind of making it to Ends and facing Michael. I think that would have been really poetic. So, yeah, I think there was other ways to kind of keep the stakes alive. I mean, they killed Ray in the first film, so I don't know. I can't say that I really predicted that. I thought maybe that she would make it. So, and I don't necessarily hate it either. I don't for this ending in this movie, I don't hate it, but it's more about what it implies. And I kind of agree with you, Anthony, how we don't get the three of them again post 2018 and them taking down Michael. Now that he's back, we don't get the three of them kind of, getting all together and stuff. So yeah.
How do you feel about Michael and Laurie not interact? Because everyone says they only have a little bit of time in Ends, but they don't interact at all in this movie, unless you count the director's cut at the end with I love And again, David Gordon Green said it's still canon when she holds the phone up to her ear and he's breathing after he kills Karen. I fucking wish they just left it in. I don't care.
I
if
don't
they
know
did a time
why they
jump.
didn't leave that in.
They should have left that in. It's a
You should have
perfect
left it.
ending.
It's in the
It's so
director's cut, and I count that. It's because it's like a cliffhanger, which they could have still had, and they could have still pushed forward whatever 4 years later. But I love that moment. But how do you feel about they literally have no scenes like in the flesh together? I know Laurie was hurt, but did you want Michael to show up at the hospital? Nice homage to 2. Like, does it bother you? To me, it bothers me a little bit, but I get Laurie was out of commission for the most. I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis was wasted, but she wasn't as, integral. Minus her, I mean, honestly, some of her hokey lines were pretty rough. But like, she's Jamie Lee Curtis. She's making the most of it. But I do wish, I don't know if that she was given more to do, but I think maybe she could have not even interacted with Michael, but been a little more, a little more active. Again, the trio of the Strodes, I wish a little more active. But do you get annoyed that they don't interact, her and Michael? Because that's a valid critique that a lot of people have.
I mean, it's valid. It doesn't bother me whatsoever because we get the big face-off. We just got the big face-off in 2018. Obviously, we have the OG to fall back on. So as a 3-part movie of the original 2018, and now we're on Kills, we have enough of Michael and Laurie facing off. And because we knew it wasn't the final installment, I don't think it bothers me at all. And I think Laurie has enough screen time. I think she's fine. I don't think she's put to the side at all. I mean, it makes complete sense why she would be, kind of sidelined. I mean, she had her moment in 2018. That was like her big moment where she faced off against Michael, and, kind of the Strodes had their moment where they all kind of trapped him in the basement. So it's Michael's the main character in this film. And I think if you would have brought Laurie in, it would have been really hard to kind of tie that in while keeping Michael at the center, just going on this bloodbath. I don't know how you would pull that off, but I see why they didn't even attempt that.
It would have felt forced, and there's sort of a natural progression, particularly where the story ultimately goes. And there's also kind of an interesting similarity, which I don't know if it was intentional on their part, but Loomis also in Halloween 6, which turned out to be Donald Pleasant's, of course, last film, he has no scene with Michael in that movie. So there is sort of like a, as like a fan, I kind of appreciate there's sort of that similar kinship between one generation of films and the other.
Do you want to know what I would have loved just to get a little like extra mean? Where if Laurie left the hospital and she found Karen's dead body, and then it ended with her after finding her body standing up and then seeing Michael at the window looking at her, and then you just cut to black, and then, if Michael went away with after, I thought that would have been fucking, like, so mean. He's just watching her find her daughter dead, and he's like, yeah, I did that, bitch. I feel like that would have been a really good mean way to end the final shot of him staring at her through the window instead of just looking out the window.
Yeah. I have a very complicated relationship with the very end of this film, like with the mob in the street and stuff, because like...
Oh, me too.
On the surface, it's fine, it's good, it fits the film, but I've talked to you about this. I think I've talked to both of you guys. I really believe that this could have been an amazing finale, and so I kind of agree with you, and I think Laurie should have showed up to Michael's house, and all 3 of them, not just Karen and Allison, could have kind of taken down this monster. Karen could have ripped the mask off, and then instead of the mob, you have Laurie show up, and it could have been them 3 facing off. So, I think Ends would have been amazing as a middle part section. I would have rearranged everything. I think it would have fit perfectly, but I understand, like, we'll get to that when we get to it. So I'm very conflicted, because, like, as a standalone movie, it's fine, but just on a larger scale, I think that is the weakest part of the film, if I had to pick one, is kind of the very end of the film, where you get the mob kind of taking him down, and then he just shows up in his window. Yeah,
we'll get to that part, but I feel like that's just very weirdly choreographed and directed scene when he fights the mob. I don't know, I just feel like I get weird vibes from it. It's a good, like, cool scene, but I'm just like, the way it plays out is a little weird. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I alluded to it before. We get Sandra, girl Sandra and her husband. Just hilarious. I mean, this is an example of, and you could tell Danny McBride's kind of fingerprints are all over this script. That because he knows how to write some funny jokes, man. I still laugh to this day at some of these characters, these like larger than life characters. They're flying the fucking drone inside the house. So like these old couple are awesome, man. And then this is an example of Michael kind of having fun. It's not as long and drawn out because again we got to get to the kills.
Yeah,
it's called Halloween Kills, but it's him kind of having fun. He throws the drone back and he breaks the drone. They're like, "What the fuck?" And then he's just standing there and knocks the fucking light out and scares the shit out of the husband. I keep forgetting his name. I feel so bad.
Yeah, I feel bad. I want to look it up. I'll find it. You guys can keep talking.
Yeah. So is it Phil? Is that his name?
Go down.
That kind of looks like him. Lenny Clark? I don't know. I'm so bad with faces.
Yeah, it's him. It's Phil.
Yeah, Phil. Yeah. Okay, so Phil and Sandra. What do you guys think of this set piece? My favorite part is, I've talked about it before, is him kind of stabbing the knives in Phil on the kitchen counter while Sandra just looks on with her freaking neck just to completely eviscerated. It's so good and so menacing. This film, this is one of the few scenes that genuinely creeps me out, where it's like Michael is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's the Michael that I want, not the hokey, kick the door open and have someone shoot themselves in the face, like ridiculous. This is to me like, because you did have, like you said, it did feel a little bit like Michael. Again, there's not a chase like as much. It's not prolonged like I want it, but it felt like Michael like getting shit done. And I also love how Phil's just like, what the hell is that crazy woman doing? And so I'm just like, don't talk shit about that woman. She will fuck you up. I'm like, yes, that's the comedy I like in these movies. But I think once Michael starts, it's just so graphic, and I love how, Sandra. First of all, Sandra's an idiot. I know her husband just got stabbed, but like, girl, you got to try to live. She just lets him
paralyzed,
just walk right up to her and stab her in the neck. I'm like, girl, come on. Try to live. But I love how I love the scene when he stabs her with the friggin' what is it, the lamp shit, the light bulb or whatever.
Yeah, fluorescent
so
light,
good.
Yeah.
But like you said, how the fact that he just places her there and then he drags her husband Phil and he's just testing out the knives. And I do think it's so well shot when you just zoom in on her just watching. I'm like, to me is the meanness, and like that's Michael from like the OG. We're like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking make you watch this and I'm gonna fuck you up. So that to me was like, I love how fucked up that was and how mean spirited that was. That to me was like, okay, we're good. And then we go to the rest of the, silliness coming up. But that to me was like, okay. That's why the first half for me is just like so damn good, because I'm like, all right, here we go. But that specifically, when Michael does that, I'm like, ooh. People in the theater for that were like, damn, that's mean. And I love that. I want my horror movies to be mean like that, and I want Michael to be mean. So I was obsessed with that. And you just, the way the sound design goes, when you keep stabbing it, I'm like, yes. And you just see the tears coming from her face. I'm like, I'm a fucked up person. I'm like, yes, this is what we need in horror. Because that got me. I'm like, oh, poor Sandra. But yes, that's what Michael is. He's evil.
Oh, it's terrifying. I think it's probably one of the most terrifying scenes in the entire movie. Just, again, I like it how Michael's even out of focus for most of the shot. And just, again, that sound effects. I mean, it's just, I get chills thinking about it right now. I also like at the beginning of that scene, and this is just a subtle choice that they made, which, again, we never know what's going on inside Michael's head, but we get little nods, little illusions. I like the fact that they sort of showcase that he's in there wrapping up his wound, like that he sort of.
But I'm happy they don't show it.
Yeah, they don't show it, but the fact that he was in it, that's where he got the gauze, and again, those sort of little subtleties sort of just add to the overall complexity and mystery of his character. Like, okay, he clearly knows enough to take care of a cut and a wound, so there's something going on upstairs, but. Again, the movie never commits to it fully, which I appreciate.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, it fits too, right? Because by the time we get to the end, especially of this trilogy, we kind of get Michael's motivations, at least what the townspeople think his motivation is. He's trying to get home. So he's doing a beeline home. So you would think, all right, why is he going to stop at Laurie's neighbor's house? But that makes sense. It's the first house he came across. He's like, oh, let me go to their bathroom. They probably have bandages. Let me bandage myself up, and while I'm here, let me just have a little fun and regain my power level and get some more kills under my belt. So yeah,
it's Halloween.
It's so good, and the track's called "Cruel Intentions," which is very fitting.
Yeah,
it's so fucking good.
Yeah,
and I like how it transitions to that next scene where after he does finish testing out the knives, it has the applause from the scene at the talent show again. That was I remember, that was like a much needed laugh after that whole sequence. Like, okay, nicely done, guys.
Yeah.
It's so good.
This is one of the more, I think, cheesy parts of the film.
Bad,
to your
bad.
credit, is just it's a never split up moment from this entire group, this entire crew, especially Tommy. Old Huckleberry. I mean, he's like, I'm gonna end this right now. Like, it's just like, all right,
what are we doing
I get
here?
it. Yeah, it's a lot. I've leaned into it again since I love this movie so much. I've leaned into it now, and I have a riot every time I watch these scenes. But this is our introduction to Evil Dies Tonight. We get the first Love Lives Today, but Evil Dies Tonight. Yeah, just fucking,
that's what it is.
Just,
yeah, who said
there
this?
it
She
is.
goes, but Evil Dies Tonight. I'm like, oh, yeah. I just hate the stuff that Tommy does. He's like talking to the bat. I'm like, oh my god.
say night night. Let's like
what is happening?
It's it's something. I get why it doesn't work for everyone, for sure. I'm not even gonna try to defend it. I personally love it. That's all.
And the couple, they go out and she's like, let's go. He's like, oh, hang on, like leave his girlfriend alone. It's like, hang on, I forgot my stethoscope. I'm like, what are you doing?
They just said serial killers on the list. Fuck the stethoscope.
But I do feel bad for this poor dude, the poor mental patient, that poor guy, because again,
Mr. Tavalli,
we'll get to later in the movie, but he rest in peace. I think the actor died in real life as well. Not too long after this, he was great. But again, it's sad what happens to him because of Michael too. And
yeah, it is sad. It's kind of confusing because it's like he is this patient,
right.
So he was like once a violent offender. I mean, we get a little glimpse of him in the last movie. So it's like, what did he do? But in this movie, he's just a confused, scared man who's trying to
mentally ill person.
Yeah, mentally ill. He's trying to just hide from people and stay out of harm's way. And then obviously. These people should know right from jump that this wasn't Michael, because Michael is a grade A driver from the original movie. I mean, we've talked about how he's just the epitome of the perfect driving student, looking both ways, stopping at stop signs. So once he guns it in this car and like crashes instantly, they should have known, like, okay, this isn't Michael Myers that we know. So yeah, it's really sad. And then obviously later on, he goes to the hospital looking for help. He's literally saying, help me. And it's very sad. And
they think it's Michael.
It makes you pissed off at the crowd even more, because it's like you're doing this to this innocent man. Yeah,
and like that goes into that's like a mob mentality. That's the whole commentary of the movie, and I get that part. But first of all, I don't know how they thought that was Michael and alone. I guess they haven't seen pictures of whatever. I'll let it pass. I mean, whatever, movie logic. I'll let it pass. But it's just like that. Like, show me that. It's just when when you get to the point where Breck just like. Now they're making us into monsters. Like, I know, you just show me that. Don't tell me these cringy dialogue. What you just show me. So I'm fine with this. Just it gets a little.
Oh, come on, let Brackett have his lines. Like, come on, man. I mean, I think he just recently passed away.
Right? He did. Rest in peace. Yeah, I like his line, his homage back to
Come on, give him a corny line or two. That's fine. Let him have it.
Give him the corny line of the OG that he does have in this movie. So that, to me, I was clapping in the theater at that line when he's like, everyone's in tub, and he says that to Michael. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. But the one where he's like, now he's making us, and I'm like, no, don't tell me that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a non-consequence line. I mean, I don't really think of it one way or the other. The only thing I will say about this is, like, I think it would have played much better for the masses if this mental patient, Phil, you said his name. I can't remember his name.
Mr. Tavalli.
Thank you. Didn't look so different to Michael. They got like literally the opposite build of Michael. Yeah. So it's very hard to believe that people that living in Haddonfield don't know what Michael Myers looks like, haven't seen his mugshots. So, that's the only thing where it's like, okay, if you're really going to think about it, they kind of messed up there. I think it's a little too hokey with how
hammering down
he's this, like,
the commentary
short, stocky,
of that.
Kind of looks like the penguin. Whereas Michael,
he's got the umbrella too. That is probably my biggest knock against this film. Where it's just okay. I get it. People act irrational in a moment of tension, but like, come on. Out of all those people, nobody knew. Like, come on, and Laurie Strode is screaming in the background. It's not him. It's
they know instantly. Laurie knows instantly. Yeah,
and they're all just like going on
that bandwagon.
No, and like they're all just like, I don't know. even the cops are like, oblivious. It's like,
they're so bad.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it's
Lori's
Haddonfield. The cops are never going to be great, but
Lori's
the only
like,
thing I'm not
fucking
giving it a
sheep. I love
pass.
that line.
I'm not giving it a pass, but our notable characters, Lori, Karen, Tommy. Tommy doesn't see what the guy looks like.
No,
he
that is
just
true.
like hears people saying it's Michael, and he's trying to look
blindly-
through the
yeah,
crowd. So
idiot.
and he gets caught up in the moment. So
Right.
they don't believe that this guy is Michael, but all the side characters, all the extras, who are supposed to be residents of Haddonfield, they do buy into it, and it's like this groupthink mentality. I believe Lori says they're not thinking for the individual. So
He calls them fucking sheep.
yeah, basically, yeah, for sure. It's not something I would have done, like personally, like so, like. But
there's
I really
other ways to
don't-
do it.
Yeah,
but
I
yeah.
really don't.
Listen.
It's such a small part of the film. Again, I timed it. It was about 8 minutes long. I don't see the big deal. I guess I think it's a fine way to explain this side plot. And again, I think it's an homage to Halloween 2. Is it handled perfectly? No, but I mean, it gave me Evil Dies Tonight, and it's like a rallying cry for me now. So I'll forever be grateful.
I love that part where Tommy manages to turn around running.
Evil Dies Tonight!
Evil Dies. Get that catchphrase in.
I found the actor's name, Ross Bacon. He actually passed away right before that. He passed away in May of 2021. Movie came out in October. Obviously, 2021.
okay.
So rest in
he
peace.
did a great job.
Yeah.
He was great. I just do think he could have had him in the with
That
along
makes
the
his
other people,
scene
but I
even
think
more
that-
heartbreaking now.
Yeah, it
he's already
is.
dead,
He's
yeah.
really good. But I do agree with people. I think their critique is that it's just them like hammering on our head,
Right.
like the commentary of the movie, where as if you found someone from the mental hospital with the same kind of at least physical build as Michael, you could have done the whole like Evil Dies Tonight, go get Michael. Like that would be more believable. With the fact that they're doing someone who looks nothing like Michael, they're just really like just hammering us on the head with like it turns people into evil with this mob mentality. Where like at least make it a little more subtle, where it kind of could come off with someone more like Michael. But again, that's not even what I hate. I just think all around it gets a little too over the top. But again, for that actor alone, he did great. And that's the most emotion I felt in the entire movie, actually, not even the Laurie stuff or the Allison or Karen stuff, is that when Karen's with him, in his last moments, and then he chooses to, jump rather than deal with the mob. That to me got me the most in the entire movie, more than any other part, which I think that might be an issue too, that I'm not feeling more stuff for my people in this one.
Okay. So now we get to one of our my favorite set pieces. We got Big John, Little John. The introduction to them, at least, they kind of split into two kind of different scenes here. We get Stop, Look, and Listen, one of my favorite new to me Halloween songs.
Yes.
I had played every year. It's on my Halloween playlist. Pete Antle is the artist. Great find for them to bring this movie into. And I've seen his family talk about it. I think like his granddaughter or something say like, hearing it and now that it's like got this like second life, like he never really got any recognition, so now he's getting recognition. It's really cool. So I love when movies do that. They kind of find like unknown, tracks or records from a time that's long gone, and they kind of bring it into the light. Stranger Things, I think, is most famously does that with some of the 80s hits that aren't really in the zeitgeist anymore. So I love when films do that, and this is one of my favorite set pieces, and it's two of my favorite characters, especially in this new trilogy. I think they're just great. They work so well together. They play off each other so well, and it's fun. Every time I see him on screen, I perk up a little bit.
Yeah, it was a surprise to see Michael McDonald from Mad TV. I'm like, hell yeah, he's in a Halloween movie. Let's go.
I love the thing I love about this is how it's Michael's house, right? And they've turned it into this like modern chic kind of, I always imagine like, all right, let's say Michael succeeds in this film and he can just like live there. And it's like, I want a sitcom where Michael's living in this like modernized version with this kitchen and everything and the fucking green walls. Like, I think that'd be hilarious. He's like, where the fuck? What happened to my sister's room? What is this?
Where's my
So
bedroom?
silly.
No, it's hilarious. I mean, I love that part where I think it's yeah, I think Little John where he goes outside like next time I'm gonna get the pitchfork. Like I mean the
Yeah.
fact
Because
that
the
they got,
sequence when they play the prank and Big John's like, you know what Michael did is he
Yeah.
stabbed her in the tits. I'm like, oh my god, what do we
Yeah,
have?
that's
What's
great. I
happening?
love how the owners, like the of this house, are
They
so
know the
connected and they
lore.
know the lore. It's
Yeah.
not like this like random couple that bought the house and they
But
don't
they
really
don't
know
to
the
lock
lore.
their
So
doors.
yeah.
No, they
No,
they
I mean,
failed
hey,
safety
it's-
101.
It's it's rural Illinois here. Let's
It's Michael Myers' house.
yeah.
No, I do love their death sequences though. I wish I don't like. I mean, I guess you can cut away from one. I mean, we got a lot of kills, but I wish we saw Little John actually get killed. But I love Big John with the armpit like that for some
Yeah.
reason. Like gets me. And then when he gouges his eyes out, obviously we always love a good eye gouging. But I don't like again how Little John just fucking stands here. He's like, "Oh, you came home." I'm like, "Well, do something."
Yeah, again, I mean, it's probably like, all right, we don't have to show every single kill, so I get why they cut away. Yeah, I mean, I think he was like starstruck. He is me. If I were to see Michael, and I was in his house, I would be like, I think I would be like, it's an honor, please kill me. So I kind of relate to him and not running.
No, he is sort of like meeting a celebrity for the first. Like you almost think he's gonna go run to go get an autograph book or something.
It's almost as if, and again, we don't get this. This is all in my mind. It's almost as if like he kind of like always knew this was a possibility, and that's what excited the Johns. The fact that they lived in this notorious house. Maybe they were like true crime junkies. You could tell they love Halloween, the holiday. So seeing him, I feel like it was kind of like a surreal moment. Like, oh my god, he really did come home, and what people told us to be afraid of like actually happened. You know, it's yeah, I think it's cool. I think they're cool characters.
Can we talk about the Marion and Vanessa and Marcus kill scene?
Yeah, let's do it. Yep.
What do you got? I mean, I love Marion so much, and they ruined her.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I think it's my
one of your
favorite.
favorites?
It's my favorite kill in the whole movie is the Vanessa kill.
Which one?
The Vanessa
God,
kill.
that's your favorite?
Yes, it's fucking amazing. It's one of the most creative fucking things I've ever seen. It's so cool. I love how she is like kind of
Just runs off.
the masculine one in the relationship.
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Her husband's like doesn't know what to do with the gun. She's like, "Honey, you better give that to me." I love
She's
that.
like, give me
They
this
break
shit.
in
I've used this
stereotypes.
before.
Yeah, that is really cool. We didn't mention like she's the doctor and he's the nurse. So I
Yeah.
love how they kind of flipped it, which is really cool to see, especially in horror when we do kind of get those tropes. So. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think we got some really cool cinematography of like the one shot of Michael like standing behind the car when
That I like.
when Lindsay is talking to the kids and the kids are being little assholes and she sees they're like, oh yeah, there he is right over there, that little pervert. And Lindsay's like, run. Her acting in this scene.
Oh yeah.
Anthony, you touched on it. She's kind of the best of the returning characters. Her acting in this scene alone is really well done. When she's like screaming at the kids. And then after the fact, when she's, very stupidly goes after Michael after everyone's dead already. It's like, okay, you're a little too late on that. You know, I don't think a bag of bricks is really gonna do much to Michael. I mean, it's very honorable, and like you said, it's very badass. But it's like maybe you could have ran at that point.
Unfortunately, the dumbest one in this scene is Marion. My girl, I love Marion too, and she just shoots out all the windows. She gives him an opportunity to come in, and then she doesn't realize she used all of her bullets, and then her only line is just like, "This is for Dr. Loomis." Then she just gets taken out so like it's so weak. I feel like her chase
Really? Okay,
in
I thought they
H2O
did her justice. Okay.
Oh no, not at all. In my opinion, I don't think they.
You didn't like the homage, like how he literally climbs.
I
the
love
car
the
same
homage to
way,
that.
and-
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
The homage is good. I don't like how she shut out the windows and gave him a way in. And I don't like how. And she just. I like that this is for Dr. Loomis. I get it's a little hokey, but then she just gets taken out so easily. She's just another throwaway character, and she's not a throwaway character in my opinion. And I do think maybe because it was in canon with Halloween and Halloween 2, I think her scene in H2O, she actually had like a significant, even though she's the opening scene, I felt like Marion to me. She felt like she has much more significance in that opening scene, and she fought in that one, so I love it. But yeah, I think hers was weak. I think the Marcus kill was cool when he gets him in the eye, but I don't know where, like, it's so weirdly played out. Like, where does Vanessa go that she just doesn't try to save them when they're still alive, and then she just magically comes back, after Michael kills Marcus with the gun shooting? I don't know what happened to her for those couple minutes when she got out of the truck, and I think her death is really over the top. Like, I remember everyone just like laughed and was like, "Oh my god!" Rolled their eyes when that happened in the theater. But it's fun, but I just think it's a little too hokey.
You gotta live a
That was a little too hokey. From Halloween, it's too hokey for me.
No, not at all.
I like that scene.
Yes,
I did. Like the first time, I'm like, wait, what is going to happen here? This fact that he kicks the fucking door. It's just like chef's kiss, Michael. Honestly, that was.
But where did she go for all that time? Okay, what happened to her?
All right.
Maybe she was. I don't know. She was hiding, or maybe she was. Trying to get the. She lost her strength. She found it again. I don't know.
Well, okay, so I get Anthony on like a movie goer, like you're nitpicking the scene and you're saying like, why did she do this? I think this scene highlights so brilliantly the victims and how they almost kill themselves, and how Michael is just this steady force that always kind of makes it out, because you have these people that Marion's never shot a gun before. I don't believe she ever has. She's not this Laurie Strode survivor. She's a retired nurse. She's this elderly lady, so of course she's gonna fire off a couple rounds not knowing what she's doing. So these people are kind of like almost killing themselves. Michael with Vanessa, you think it's hokey, but it's Michael just kicking the door at the exact right time. And Michael didn't know for sure Vanessa was going to blow her own brains out. But, like, that's just, like, him being this steady force and staying calm and cool and collected, because he's Michael fucking Myers. And these victims just freaking out and doing, like, crazy shit because they're in a crisis and they don't know how to, like, deal with it. So I think that's just a brilliant way to kind of showcase that in this one scene. And then you get Lindsay, obviously, to kind of clean
That's
up
my
the
favorite
mess.
part of the scene is the Lindsay stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, the fact that her husband tries to take the stethoscope and like thinks that guy's gonna like strangle him. Like, come on, what are you doing? Yeah. Even Michael like turns around like, dude, really?
He's like, really?
Oh I mean, that's all he had, right? So, what did you think, Phil? Like, you said you liked the scene. Did you think Marion went out pretty well, or did you?
I think I still prefer what we got in H2O a little more, but I don't know. This felt like a different take on how to take Marion down. Like this again, she's again, the context of H2O, you've got Marion being in the first film and then in Halloween 2. And even though she doesn't interact with Michael in that film, she's still part of that whole night. So in this context, she's only had one brief encounter with Michael on October 30th. So you're talking 40 plus years of nothing and sort of just living with your life and, maybe swimming around with Dr. Loomis's paranoia. But, I don't know. I think she did it as well as could be. I mean, it was always, I think, going to be hard just because H2O, I think, did it so effectively well.
Yeah.
But I give them props here. And that line, "This is for Dr. Loomis," like, yeah, come on.
Anytime you say Loomis,
no, it's like you're speaking my language right there. That's always good. So
I will agree. I think it's a different take. So I do prefer H2O as well. I'm not saying I don't, just because that's such a cool freaking set piece. But this is a different Marion. So in the context of this timeline, I think it's fine. I think it works. Yeah, and
can I just say the score though in this particular scene?
Yeah.
John Carpenter, he is really cooking here.
Yeah, I don't have the names of the scores like
so
you
did,
that one.
I memorized them. It's so good.
Yeah, this is.
I do wish the Lindsay scene went on I wanted a little bit of it. I wanted a chase in this movie, and I wish that one was the big chase. But it kind of again, she just kind of like goes down to the swamp almost, and he just kind of goes away.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Anthony. You keep saying that. I'm a big chase guy, too, in a Halloween film, and that was my one critique of 2018. I think the flavor of that film could have really benefited from one cool set piece where he's stalking and chasing someone. And we don't really get that. We get the face-off at the end, but besides that, we don't get the one set piece where someone's going to die. It's just a matter of time. But for this movie, it doesn't bother me because the tone is so different. I think it would have fit better in 2018. But I don't think that's missing. I think the little kind of quick hits of him stalking are enough for me in this film because it's such a different tone and it's a different pissed off Michael. So, yeah, it doesn't bother me as much in this film, I don't think.
There's such
Yeah,
a
I need my
creepiness
Jesus.
to it too. Like just the fact, like when there's that shot of him walking over the bridge, and I just love the way they
The
filmed it. It's just
breathing, yeah.
yeah, and then the reflection of him on the water, and I mean, again, I thought it was pretty effective. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen it maybe go on for a few more minutes, just to kind of give Lindsay more time in the spotlight. But it's quite intense. I have to say. I mean, again, it's Michael going after an OG character.
Mhm.
Are you happy that Lindsay's the one who survived along with Lori, like, to go into ends?
Oh yeah,
And
no,
yeah,
I'm with
me
you.
too.
She is the best of the returning characters.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
like going
was
back to the
happy.
OG.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, I was happy, but I wish she was utilized more in ends. She kind of was just kind of put to the wayside in ends. She has a couple scenes, but she's not really impactful. I thought because they had her live, she was the one person who lived, that she would have more of a role in kind of helping drive the plot in ends. And so I was a little disappointed. I don't know how you feel about that, but that she didn't have more of a reason to live, really.
Oh, I think she does. I think she has a couple of powerful like dialogue moments and ends, but I almost think that like going back to the OG, I feel like it should have been Tommy like who makes it because again his whole relationship with the boogeyman. But once I saw what they were doing with Tommy, like, all right, please take him out over Lindsay. I want Lindsay to be the survivor because I really fell in love with Lindsay in Halloween Kills. So I'm happy that she ultimately is the one who made it out. But I feel like going back to the OG, it's like Tommy and Michael had such a that boogie relationship with the boogeyman. So you would think that that's how they would have played it, but for the fact that I see what happened to him in this movie, I'm like, okay, I'm happy that Lindsay made it out. And I think she has a couple. We'll get to ends, but I think she has really like powerful scenes that go into the themes of that movie. That she made, and I know she was supposed to be in the end, but I know her whatever housewife shit got in the way of that stuff.
Yeah,
But,
there's something. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it. I'm
Yeah.
happy that Lindsay is a survivor in this movie. Too.
I'm happy too. There's something cool about Lindsay surviving. The fact that her babysitter Annie was the one who kind of died in the original. I think it was cool to kind of have her be the survivor in this film. I think it was a cool kind of way to. Obviously, once we found out who Tommy was in this version, I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, he doesn't need to.
His days are numbered.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Cameron much yet before, because we're gonna get to his set piece soon. What do you guys think of? Because Cameron in the first one, like, pretty much was a douche, like he was an asshole. Yeah. But I liked his little. I will say, like, much like Karen, I liked his development in this one, and I was
did
like,
too. I did too. I don't think it didn't feel forced.
No.
It felt like he was just a kid that, like, he made a mistake at a fucking dance, and it's not like he did anything that was unforgivable. I mean, he was a dickhead, he was an asshole, but he genuinely is a good guy, and he cares. I mean, he cares about Allison. He has this relationship with his father, Lonnie, who's a new character as well. I think, again, those two together had some cool, touching moments. I agree. I think he's. I love what they did with his character. They kind of added some layers to him and made him kind of like a cool, what's the word? Cool character arc, if you will.
Yeah. And it makes his big scene that much more impactful because of that, for sure.
Well, yeah, because you grow attached to Cameron by the end of it, and it makes it all the harder than when that scene arrives.
Yeah, I did want to touch on. We talked about the hospital, like the mob scene. There was a moment, and this is another moment that's sprinkled in that I really do like. I don't know how you feel about this. When Frank and Lori are talking on their beds, and Frank goes into that fateful night 40 years ago again.
I'm happy you brought that
up. And he blames himself for pretty much everything. And we see what happens when Loomis confronts Michael. Because, again, you're kind of thinking, first time watch, you're saying to yourself, okay, I understand how he's arrested, but Loomis is right there, and there's no way Loomis is not taking that shot, even with all the cops around him. I mean, he is going after. So I think this was beautiful, the way Frank and Will Patton delivered these lines. I think was really cool how he kind of blames himself, and he said, "No, it's not on you, Lori. Like, yeah, you tried to kill him now, but I could have ended all of it 40 years ago, and had I just let Loomis execute this guy when he had the chance, but I couldn't." And you really feel for him because, you go back to the opening sequence. He's this rookie guy on the force. He's this young kid, just trying to make a difference, I'm sure. Again, he's super stupid. He ends up killing his partner, who was going to die anyway, so it was kind of an impossible choice. He either lets Michael choke him to death, or he has to do something. But yeah, you really feel for him, because he's this young kid who like has this sense of right and wrong, and he lifts the gun, and Loomis fires up into the sky, and that's what saves Michael's life. What did you guys think about this moment? I thought it was really well done and beautiful.
It's another perfect continuation of that scene. And again, it's fitting that Loomis would be the one to try and put the final shot into Michael. And I love how all the cops are just standing around, letting this civilian be there to take the shot. Like, I mean, the rule book is out the window that night in Haddonfield, and it's just so fitting, because you could just imagine in another context, Donald Pleasance in character, that he would be right there, doing that scene. And so it felt very Loomis to me. And then you then tie it in with sort of that exchange Frank has with with another cop afterwards, where it's like, sometimes, your best intentions may mean well, but they don't always translate into the greater good or something like that. And I thought that was a kind of a nice way to bookend that scene, where Frank is just trying to be a good cop. He's trying to do his job, and you would say yes, okay, he technically did the right thing, but so there's sort of that blurring of the lines where sometimes what may be the by the book answer is not always the right answer, if you will, in sort of the greater context of things. So I thought there was a lot of interesting symmetry and symbolism in that whole scene that really pays off with where we find Frank 40 years later, where he's just blaming himself, because it's like, oh my God, like, I could have stopped all of this, but I got lost and followed the rule book, and now here I am lying in a hospital bed, near death myself.
Yeah, no, I love that scene. Everything you guys said, I love it. The only thing I don't like is I wish we just were focused on Loomis with the gun and Frank pushing it out. I don't like that we saw Michael in a vulnerable position. I thought they handled it so well in the opening, but then you actually see him down on his knees a little bit in that scene, so I don't like seeing him vulnerable. But other than that, I thought the scene was perfect. I just don't want to see Michael like that.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay, yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically Halloween Ends, so...
No,
again, that's a little inconsistent there.
There's one sequence.
Okay. Yeah,
and that's after he's brutally attacked.
We'll save it. All right, so we get we finally get back to Big John, Little John. This sequence is cool. Again, never split up moment. It's like, you hear a noise upstairs. Why not both go upstairs or call the cops? Like, why are you splitting up? I love the whole Big John, Little John, where they check in on each other. It's so cute. The thing I love most about this, we talked about the 2 kills already, but how the staging of the bodies, how he stages them, like the photo on the mantelpiece.
Yeah,
like that's
that.
so great. That's awesome. And how what's her name finds them like that.
Allison.
Yeah.
Felt
I love that. Yeah.
Very OG Halloween in a lot of ways.
He's playing his games. That's the Michael.
Yeah, that's true. It does feel very OG, that sequence, for sure.
And then we get their big sequence.
Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
Lonnie is the real never split up champion.
Yeah.
Like, stay out here.
Yeah.
But they're gonna go in once they like, that was so stupid. I hate that when he just stay right here.
I'll see you at the finish line, buddy.
Yeah. Like, come on, they're gonna go in a second anyway. But I like how, I guess, Cameron and Allison have that little moment in the car when Lonnie's in, but then you hear a gunshot like literally 2 seconds after he closes the door, and they run in there. I like how we see them go through the house. Obviously, it's dumb that they split up too. Allison and Cameron also split up once they get within the house. I like how Allison shoots the pumpkin in the closet. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And I love how she's the one who finds the body. She's like, what the fuck? And then Cameron's really dumb. He follows, like, he sees the blood, he hears it, he goes up and he opens, and I like how thankfully he finds his dad. That's a good gut punch. And then right after that, Michael, I like how Michael's hiding in the closet and he stabs Cameron. I love this death sequence so much, because he really is just like giving a fuck you to, like, I'm gonna fucking show you how slow and methodical I can kill your boyfriend. And he like shoves, I love how he just shoves him in her face pretty much too, literally. I like how he throws her down the stairs. She like it almost seems like I don't know if she breaks her leg, but she breaks something. She snaps something. And I just love how he's just slams him through the stairs. Oh my god, I love the railings. Again, talk about sound design. This is the best sound design in the whole movie. This part, he's literally just like slamming him up and down, side to side. I'm like, oh fuck yes, this is a mean kill, and I did feel really really bad for Karen. He's like almost looking at Allison like help me, but she can't get to him in enough time. And then we have our badass final girl moment. She's like, come and get me, motherfucker, which I love when a final girl, confronts someone like that. And then he just was like, all right, I'll come get you, but first I'm gonna snap his neck. And I'm like, oh, fuck yes, Michael. That's my favorite part of the entire movie. And I love how he goes to the staircase, much like he does in the OG, before he starts like, walking down. He does the whole movement like he does to Lori. And, Allison's at the bottom in this moment. So I love that so much. And I do love that Allison's just like, just fucking do it already. And then Karen's the one who comes, saves the day. I love that moment. I think this sequence is pretty perfect once we get him popping out of the closet. It's excellent. And again,
Yeah.
Unkillable is the best track. It might be the best track in this one. I don't know, but it's so good.
Yeah, I this is my favorite kill. Definitely for sure.
Me too.
Cameron's kill. It's so brutal. He's crushing his windpipe, and you're like, oh, surely he's dead by now, and he's
Nope.
still alive. And then it's like, okay, he's finally dead. Now we're gonna get Michael versus, and then no, you still hear him breathing as Michael's going down the stairs, and Allison's just like, get me, pleading with Michael, and Michael's like, I'm gonna scar you a
It's so
little
good.
bit more. Yeah, it's great. And again, I keep saying it, but shout out to Robert Longstreet who plays Lonnie.
Yeah.
Just amazing. Even before they get into the house, that little moment where he's talking about Ray, his friend Ray, who's Allison's father, and I love the connection how in 2018 Ray is talking about Lonnie and how Lonnie was selling him drugs, but then Lonnie in this scene is saying Ray was selling him drugs. So I think that was fucking great. Robert Longstreet, though, I mean, he's a Mike Flanagan veteran. He's been in a bunch of stuff. I just recently watched Midnight Mass for the first time.
You just watched it?
Just watched it. I loved it so much.
Oh my
Finally
God,
got to
it's
it.
so
He
good.
plays a tragic character so well.
He does.
So shout out to him. I want to see him in like a heroic role, though.
Yeah, I
one of
wish he had a
these
little more
days.
to do in this, but I'm happy he was in it.
Yeah,
sure.
he had some good moments, and the realization when they pull up to the house, and he's just like, he knows he's in a never split up moment. He's like, fuck, what did I just do? I just brought my son to the fucking Michael Myers house. Am I fucking stupid? Yeah, so I thought that was
Are
really
you bummed
funny.
you didn't see his death, or are you just cool with us seeing the aftermath?
No, because I think it was. I agree with you. I think it was impactful that we just kind of see him
too,
in.
yeah.
It's. I think it's an homage to when Laurie stumbles
Cameron, it
into
was
the
important,
house
yeah.
in the original. It's Karen kind of. Cameron takes that role and kind of finds his father. I think that was effective. So I would have. I think that's perfect. And yeah, this sequence is so perfect. Phil, what did you think? This is my favorite sequence as well. Especially my favorite
Me
death.
too.
Yeah, I make that 3. I think this is probably the best sequence in the entire
I
film.
mean, it's Michael in his
just-
house. I mean,
It is,
doesn't get
no,
much
exactly.
better,
Which
yeah.
come to think of, we really don't get that much of in the series. Like, especially Michael doing his business in the house like that. That's a rare treat. Yet from the score to just the brutalness. Like, I mean, Michael. I mean, he's been pissed off this entire movie, but he is letting it rip in this final sequence. I mean, just from the fact when he comes out, surprises Cameron, and then does what he does too. I mean, it's brutal is putting it mildly. I mean, he fucks shit up so badly here. And I mean, Allison is scarred for life if she wasn't already. I mean, it's just such a classic horror movie scene. Like, it just, everything about it, the way it's shot, the tension, and just I mean, we could even get the little, mano-a-mano with Allison and Michael, which that was another plus too, which I thought with 2018 we really never got the
She needed
two
that
of
moment.
them to face off. So that kind of did feel like a little bit of a baton pass or a knife pass, if you will. So I like that she kind of gets her due in this movie and does what she can to try to take him down.
Yeah, I thought that was really effective. Allison kind of finally gets her final girl moment. She's one of my favorite. After this movie, she vaulted up as one of my favorite characters in the franchise. I think she was awesome in this film. And then Karen kind of coming and them working together to kind of take out Michael with the pitchfork and take his mask, which was really smart. Not so smart what they do afterwards, how she leaves the mask for him in the street. You know, mythology aside, like, if you want to kill Michael, he's very, like, not Michael without his mask. I mean, no matter what timeline you're in, I mean, the mask is what gives him his bravado. And so I thought that was kind of silly. But up until the entire point where pretty much Karen takes the mask and leads him away from her daughter, I think is just perfect as well. And it's such a great moment. This is the moment that I think could have worked really well as like a kind of conclusion if Laurie showed up. But then we get kind of this scene, this mob scene, which is, again, it's a hoorah moment in the theaters. When I first saw it, I was like, holy shit, Michael just got shot again. Like, he's getting his ass kicked. Karen gives the quote-unquote final blow with the knife in the back, and you're like, holy shit.
Why
like,
in the back?
he's down and out. Like, is this how we're going to end the film? And then we're going to have to find out they're going to have to do some, Halloween 4 magic to figure out how he's alive and Halloween ends. But no, they show him get back up, and it's very hokey. It's very corny. But again, I'd be lying if I wasn't like pumping my fist, because I'm such a Michael Myers fan, obviously. Killing all of these characters, especially Tommy at the end. It's just the one that doesn't die, though, and I've seen a lot of Reddit discussions about this character, is the Iron Lady, the lady with the iron. She makes it out. She does not die. At least we don't see her die. So I think she was just there just in case Michael needed some services, needed to iron out that
the jumpsuit.
No, I love that Karen comes to save the day. I hate the dialogue of like, I'm an innocent woman, just like your sister. I'm like, oh, just say come and get me and start running. I think that was very weirdly placed. I hate that dialogue so much. It's so bad. But I like the chase. I like the score that's playing. I really like when they first attack Michael. I just think it's weirdly like the slow motionness of when Michael, I get like budgetary issues and everything, but like the slow motion of when Michael's legend, when you cut back from Laurie talking, like, doing her like Curse of Michael Myers talk that she's doing in the hospital. I think it's so weird how it's almost like operatic and slow when he starts killing them. So it's just filmed, I don't know, directed a little weird, but obviously I love that he comes back and, you can't kill him. He's unkillable. I love that. And I don't know, I just think there's something weird about when after they take him out and he comes back to life and starts going like, it's just weirdly, it plays out.
So you don't like the technical kind of like how they shot it.
Yeah, it's weird. I wish I don't like the way they played out at the end. I don't like how it kept. I love like Jamie Lee Curtis doing voiceover stuff, but I wish it kind of waited till after that when he like walked. I wish you saw him like walk off into the shadows. I do like when he bashed Tommy in the head, but it's just like Tommy Doyle did this like Scooby Doo like, oh, no, not me now, and he just smashes him. But again, it's weirdly directed. That I will say, I think that's very weirdly directed, that part. But I like how Karen gets her badass moment before she gets killed. It's just a weird way that it like plays out, I feel like.
Yeah, that's an interesting critique. I don't think I've heard that critique before. Yeah. So what about you, Phil? How do you feel about this whole set piece?
I love the mob taking him down. I think that's a very cathartic ending for this film. In many ways, I think I'm with you. I would have liked if it had just maybe ended there. In that, just maybe Karen goes down, on that cliffhanger. But it's a little choppy from then him getting back up, and then we're sort of cutting back and forth with Laurie's monologue, and then him just taking everybody down. I mean, you knew he was going to get up. Like, I mean, this is Michael, but it's. I don't know, the way it is constructed, it almost needed to happen, I think, more organically, if that makes sense, than just sort of, I don't know, it felt like, this is where it felt like really Halloween, the ride, where it's just like Michael's in the middle and all these characters are just like on a conveyor belt being taken down.
It almost is like a carousel. When about to kill him. I'm like, what is happening? I want the energy of the fire, like the first responder when he gets back up, like just, more like film like that a little bit. I don't know. It's just weird. I got weird vibes.
It's jarring compared to the first part where they take him down. This felt
I
very.
like that he takes everyone down, though. I like it.
Oh yeah, no,
I
it's.
like
I mean,
he gets
that's.
Bracket. He gets Tom.
Oh yeah,
Poor
everybody
Bracket, but
goes.
yeah, I like it. Yeah, everyone goes. I like that. And then we'll have to get to like this very, very end is also very. I feel like it's so weird the way it plays out at the very end when like let's see Karen's motivations to go upstairs and all that. Like let's.
I feel
Very
like there
weird.
needed to be another scene.
Yeah, I just felt like something was missing or something. I don't know. It's just, or it kind of felt like almost rushed once we got to the mob too. I feel like let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
Right, right.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. How it's maybe missing a scene. I personally don't mind it because I'm able to kind of extrapolate why she goes upstairs. You know, I take the context of her upbringing. This boogeyman has terrorized her life in the shadows because he's been in behind bars, and now he's come back. He's obviously killed your husband. He's wounded your daughter and mother, and he's back in the forefront. And now you feel like you finally defeated this because she doesn't know what's going on. She leaves the scene. She stabs Michael and leaves the scene. She thinks it's over. So to me, with all of that context, I kind of understand that she's like kind of drawn to that window, and she's looking up at the window. You see the hallucination of a young Michael in the window, standing at the window. So it's like, all right, here's this man who we have known nothing about. All we know is that he's fixated on his sister's bedroom window. I want to go up there and kind of, it's almost like exposure therapy in a way. Like I want to put myself in Michael's shoes and kind of, that's why she's drawn to that window. So I that's how I would have not liked it if they explained that or tried to rationalize like with an extra scene. So I think it's fine. I think it's a little, again, like, okay, he just killed all these people and now he's showing up behind her. I almost thought it was like it almost feels like a dream sequence in a way.
Yeah,
It does. Okay, I will say okay that, because again, this I feel like is more wonky than him taking down everyone else down, where it's like slow motion. It's almost like Psycho vibes, where she's like and it's like slow motion. He's slashing her.
It was slow motion with the mob too.
Yeah, the mob didn't bother me as much, but I think with this one, because it's so personal and it's like, you know, it's at the very end. It leaves with a weird kind of vibe, but. I don't mind it, I guess, as much because I kind of understand why Karen would want to go up there and kind of see what the big deal is. Like, is it that good of a view? Like,
you can see the whole town.
I don't know. I wish that like after he killed the mob, like, and she was on her way back, thinking Allison was still at the house, like he chased her back to the house, and then maybe Allison was already taken away, and she had to get chased up to the stairs, and then he kills her there. I just feel like. You have Allison at the bottom of the steps and then like the front of the house just looking up like, okay, then my mom goes upstairs and it's like, does she hear her die? Like, it's just so weird. Like the way it's like structured is so weird. I wish Allison was taken out and like Karen like was running back to get to Allison and then Michael ended up chasing her on the way back and that's why she dies in the house. I just feel like you just have Allison just looking up like, oh, there goes my mom up those stairs. Like, I'm like, what? It's just so weird. And you have a big character dying. I wanted it to be like, holy shit. Now I'm just kind of like, this is so weirdly placed.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I think it kind of ties into the kind of the inevitability of Michael and how he's always going to just survive. So it's like this very dark kind of ending and Michael is always going to get the last laugh. So I get why they didn't do like a big chase scene. It was more of just like Michael getting the last laugh and like this shocking way to end it. So... yeah, no, it didn't bother me as much. Again, I would have liked to see Karen survive because I thought she was a great character, and I think they could have explored more with her, especially the three of them. Like you said, Anthony, I think they could have teamed up all three of them. But you know, if she had to die, I feel like there was worse ways for her to go. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. It almost felt like
the house.
I was almost like a little nervous in theaters watching this, saying like, "Are we gonna get like a Jamie Lloyd? Like, why is she drawing? Is she gonna be like?"
Oh god!
Like a new like
I felt like
why
that
is she
too.
fixated
like
on the window?
Too, yeah.
Like what's going on? Does she have a darkness in her? So it was. I was
make
a little
sense,
tense
yeah.
in that moment. Yeah. I'm like, are they gonna do something
that
really crazy here? So I was kind of a little relieved when it was just like, oh okay, it was just their way of getting her alone, you know.
Even if she showed back at the house and have a chase and like, it's like, oh fuck, Allison's not here, and then Michael just popped out, and then you could have still had that, you know, build up of him just staring out the window after that. I don't know. I just felt like they were like, how do we make this work within the context without like adding another day of shooting? And I don't know, I just felt like a very, I don't know, messy. But again, ballsy to take her out. I don't mind the the psycho scene. I thought that was a cool homage to the psycho, like the way he stabbed her. I like that part a lot. And I do like how, I do wish, in my opinion, it's canon. I think David Gordon even did say it was canon. I love the phone call with Laurie.
Yeah.
After I like how it ends. The director's cut ends on Laurie, whereas Kills. I mean, it is. I will say it is fitting for Kills to end on Michael with the whole theme of the movie. But I just thought about Laurie with that knife, and she's like, "I'm coming for you," and I'm like, "Here, let's fucking go. Let's get it." So good though.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that ending is so much better. It's the only version I watch now that I have the 4K. Again, not to fucking have Halloween Ends catch strays, but it's like almost anticlimactic. You have this big guy like, I'm coming to get you, and then we get Halloween Ends. It's like, okay, all right.
Well,
It's like it just goes back to like the whole marketing of Ends and stuff, how they were marketing this big face off. So I'm
there
kind
was
of
a face off.
Yes, there was a face off.
But I think they could have explained that away with the 4 year that he just escaped. They could have still had that ending, like in canon, and they could have explained it away.
So. No, for sure. I think it's canon too. I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is canon. Yeah.
How, it's just again everything's so tied into the original film, and this, of course, he was gonna pick up the phone and breathe into the phone. Like, of course that was.
I just wanted to see. Imagine seeing Michael with an iPhone. To his ear.
I know. Figuring out how to swipe the screen.
No, it's a fun ride. This movie.
Yeah, that is how I always feel after I finish it. It is a fun slasher film, which I said at the start, we really don't get a lot of these, and so when they do come along, there is something to appreciate from it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is Halloween Kills, everyone. We got through it. Good job, everybody. I thought we all had some pretty good points. We kind of dissected that film pretty well, and we're gonna have to have you back, I guess, for Halloween Ends, Phil. That's gonna be a good discussion. I could have you can be kind of the mediator, I think, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a good time. Let's get into, I guess,
great.
our overall thoughts, our scores. But we'll start with our never split up moments. As tradition, Phil, since you are our guest of honor, if you want to go first, or we'll leave it up to you if you need an extra minute to think. You don't have to go first, but we'll let you have kind of your pick.
Okay, I'll actually go with one that we really didn't touch on, and it's not even like it's a traditional split up moment, but kind of the fact that Laurie lets Karen go off from the hospital in this film. Like, yes, we know in the context Laurie is injured and she's recuperating, but that's kind of a what the fuck moment. Like, you saw what just happened at the house, you know he's still out there. Like, if it's my kid, like, my stomach's falling out or not, I'm going out there with her, and I feel like that was one of those moments where, they probably should have stuck together, safety in numbers, especially knowing that Allison was out there as well. Like, kind of a rare L move for Laurie to like, okay, see you later, Karen, call me when it's through.
Yeah. Well, especially because Karen ends up getting it, so that's it.
Well, that's again, it kind of makes it all the worse.
Yeah, I mean, I could kind of justify it only because Allison was out there alone, so it's like, go get my granddaughter. But yeah, that is pretty silly. It's like she should have at least, like, she was so hell bent on leaving the hospital earlier.
Let me ride along with you or something.
Let me ride along. Okay, all right, cool. Ant, you want to go next? Because I don't think you're gonna pick my moment. So, do you want me to go?
It doesn't matter. I will say I do like how Karen is so protective of Laurie because she thinks that Michael is after her.
Yeah.
And she's like he's coming to the hospital. We have to have all the cops here. And then I will say she is put in a tough position because she's like, do I say to look after my mom or do I go protect my daughter? So she's kind of is, tough position, Karen, right there. But yeah, Laurie should have been like, we all go or none of us go. Because that's Laurie. You can go. You can go next, yeah.
Yeah, no, mine's another one that we really didn't touch on in the review. And you kind of touched on it, but not the moment itself. I'm going to go with Karen. I'm going to go with Karen in the hospital scene with the big, dumb move to imprison that poor guy in that hallway and locking the doors, having him lock the doors and just be literally like lamb for slaughter for this mob. She's like, I can stop them. I can, like, no, lady, you're not going to do shit. So she literally barricaded this guy in this open hallway with double doors on each side for people to just completely surround him. And I thought that was really stupid and really dumb. And then again, in that moment, I'm just feeling so bad for this guy. This poor guy ends up jumping out the window. But it was almost like, what did you expect to happen, girl? He was either going to take his own life or they were just going to come at him from all sides. Like, I feel like she could have did a much better job hiding him instead of putting him in this open hallway.
Yeah, that was the Karen from 2018 Halloween coming a little bit. Like, the world is full of wonderful people. I can talk. I'm like, oh, God. No, Karen. But yeah, no, that's a good one, too. I'm going to go for a more traditional one. I was going back and forth between two, but I was going to go with Lonnie going to the house alone, which I think is so stupid. But the fact that, I might go, Sandra just giving up and just letting Michael just have his way with her really pissed me off, because I'm like, girl, unlock the fucking door or hit him or something, do something. So I'm gonna go with Sandra. Sandra just like, I know she's in shock, but fuck, girl, you gotta survive. Come on, survival of the fittest. Let's go. So I'm gonna go that she just kind of like just lets him do whatever he's gonna do. It's really sad that she allows that. And Alani's a close second. I mean, but he, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Sandra. Really pissed me off.
Okay, cool. Those are 3 good moments, 3 creative moments, I think, for sure. All right, let's get to our scores then. Who wants to go first on their score?
Let's do it. You want me to go? I can go first.
Sure, yeah. Kick us off.
I think this is, again, I know I have my critiques, but that's just because I love the movie so much. So I critique them extra hardcore. But I still love this movie so much. It's a great time. It's beautifully filmed. It's, for the most part, except for a couple of sequences, David Gordon Green brings it as director. And then another thing I want to highlight is just that, again, say what you want about David Gordon Green. You guys can be a fan of this trilogy or not, but he did something different with each installment of the trilogy, whereas he could have just done, let's do a Halloween 2018 for the next 2 movies again, where like he actually had the balls to do 2018, do something different with kills, and then do something very different with ends. So love or hate what he did, kudos to him. And I actually could feel his passion for this franchise as he directed it. So kudos to him. I think the score is amazing. Again, I love that we have our trio in this one, Laurie, Karen, and Allison. I think the death sequences are awesome. I wish we had more, of my classic Michael stalk and chase scenes leading up to the death. I like, Michael's supposed to play with his victims before he kills them. It's a little messy and all over the place. It gets a little too hokey for me. But all around, that's what makes it a fun ride, is that it has all this ridiculousness. So I love it so much. I'm going to give it an 8.3.
Okay. Very solid score. All right. And this was number 9 in your ranking, which kind of gives me a good scale for the rest of the franchise. The fact that it's on the lower end, but it's franchise. Still an 8.3. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. It's a lot of movies in between. Okay. Phil, do you want to go next, or do you want to go
sure.
last? It's up to you.
Oh, yeah, I can go next.
Okay.
I love this film. It is bloody. It's chaotic. It is, at points, Halloween, the amusement park ride. But again, I am always in a hard position to really like give a bad score to any of these movies, because I just love this franchise so fucking much. So, like, even on a bad day, it's still a Halloween movie.
I feel you on that.
And so, like, again, for all the nitpicks that I might have, it's Michael Myers, it's Halloween, like, what's not to like? So for me, this is a solid 8 out of 10. Absolutely. And yeah, it's kind of amazing that the film does exist, because it is such a bloody funhouse ride. Like, I don't know if you could get away with it necessarily today, just because, like, I feel like now you have to almost like really double down on either the social commentary or some other exposition, whereas this movie has that, but when it kills, it really kills, and I love it for it.
Okay, another solid score. Yeah, this is the film that I've been waiting for. 2018 blew me away, and then this film just took it to another level. It's everything I want from a modern slasher of a beloved franchise, my favorite horror franchise of all time. It's got amazing set pieces. my favorite villain, Michael Myers, is bigger and better and more brutal than ever. The sound design is beautiful. It's my favorite of the trilogy. That might be a controversial take, but I think whereas 2018 maybe has my favorite track of all time of this trilogy, this is a more consistent all the way through. Every single track is just such a banger. They balance the script so well. I know Anna said is messy. I don't think it's messy at all. I think all the jokes land. It's my type of humor. It's my type of camp. So I think that's balanced beautifully with the brutalness and the scariness of Michael Myers and stalking Haddonfield. It's got some great character moments. It's just, again, it's everything I look for in this modernized slasher of a beloved franchise that I love so much. It's number 2 right behind the original.
Yeah, you gotta be high.
I'm gonna give it a 9.9. 9.9. I mean, it's basically perfect. It's everything I wanted for my whole life.
That's great. I love hearing that, Nolan.
I can't remember what we gave 2018, but I think it was in the 9s too.
It had to be.
It
It had to have been in the 9s for me at least. Yeah, because 2018 is my 3rd favorite. I know I flip-flopped that with Halloween 2. But
that's your 3rd favorite?
Yeah, it's my 3rd. So mine
it's
goes
before-
OG,
it's over
Kills,
Halloween 2?
2018, and then Halloween 2.
God.
Yeah, those are ones that I flip all the time. Halloween 2 sometimes lands on my 3, but as of now, that's my top 3. So
2018 is my number 5.
Okay,
Right.
and that's right above Kills, right? Kills is number 6, you said? Oh no, Kills is number 9.
Kills
Kills
is
is
number
6 for Phil. I don't know. I'm getting
Yeah.
confused. Yeah,
6 or 7.
6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Gotcha. And
13
Phil,
movies.
2018 is your second favorite, correct?
It's actually flipped to number 3.
Oh, now it's flipped. Okay.
Yeah, I know, but I'll have more to say on that later this month when Anthony actually comes on my show and we talk about another controversial Halloween film.
And that's 4?
The what?
What's number 2 for you?
Well, I'll hold you all in suspense for that. Yeah, I'll hold you in suspense.
Gotcha.
So we're kind of all like positive on this, but it's just scattered in our rankings.
Yeah,
it's
everything.
Just,
Yeah. I think the things that bother you, Anthony, just it takes a little bit out of it, and I think for me, I kind of lean into it more. I think that's the difference. Yeah,
for
same
sure.
with Phil. Phil, I think is you're just a Halloween aficionado, so you let a lot of the stuff slide just because.
Oh yeah, like I said, I mean, I really I'm very hard pressed to be critical about these movies.
Well,
they're all.
We always appreciate you coming on the podcast, Phil, and trying to
appreciate
be
it,
critical
guys.
of these films. This is another great discussion. Again, real quick, you want to shout out your channels just so people can find you. I'll put a link to your channels as well in the description here.
Yeah, appreciate that. You can follow me on Twitter, Phil W Movies. My show is Phil at the Movies. New episodes each and every Friday for the love of movies.
Great. And for the Never Split Up podcast, I'm Nolan. That's Anthony. Thanks again, Phil. You can find us on social media at Never Split Up Pod. We still have our giveaway going on. Please enter our giveaway on Twitter or X. We're giving away some John Carpenter Blu-rays, and that's going to be drawing, I believe, in like a week or so. So get in those entries. You just have to like and repost the submission. It's totally free to enter, so definitely get on that. And that's about it. We'll see you next time for our 100th episode, everybody. Thanks so much, and we'll see you later. Bye.